I knew something was wrong the moment my own father looked past me and told security to remove me from his birthday party. Security, remove her. He didn't hesitate. He didn't even look at me when he said it. It was like I wasn't his daughter anymore, just a problem standing in the middle of a room he thought he controlled. People turned. Conversations stopped. I could feel every eye in that ballroom shift toward me, trying to figure out what I had done to deserve that kind of dismissal. I hadn't done anything. At least, nothing they understood. That night wasn't just about being humiliated. It was about something deeper, something that had been building for years without anyone in my family realizing it. I'm sharing this on Exposed Stories Media because what happened next wasn't just a moment. It was a complete shift in how everyone in that room saw me. My name is Rachel. I'm the youngest in my family, and for most of my life, I was the one people underestimated. Not openly, not in a cruel, obvious way. It was quieter than that. I was the one who didn't speak up enough. The one who kept things simple. The one who didn't chase attention or prove anything to anyone. My older brother, Mark, was the opposite. Confident, loud, visible. He worked in commercial real estate. He liked to talk about deals, numbers, buildings, and connections. My father loved that about him. To my father, success had a look. It was loud, structured, easy to explain. Mark fit that image perfectly. I didn't. So over time, a narrative formed. Mark was the one building something. I was the one doing something small. They never said it directly. They didn't have to. You can feel how people see you without them saying a word. I stopped correcting them a long time ago. Not because I couldn't, because I didn't need to. 3 years before that birthday party, I had left a firm quietly and joined a small investment group. We focused on acquiring underperforming commercial properties. Not the kind people talk about at dinner. The kind people overlook. Old buildings, complicated ownership structures, places that needed restructuring, not attention. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. Over time, I moved from being part of deals to controlling them. Not publicly, not in a way that would ever come up in conversation, and definitely not in a way my family would notice. That included the building where my father's birthday was being held. At least at first. When Mark told the family he had secured a premium venue for the event, everyone was impressed. He described it like it was part of his world. Great location. Strong ownership. I've worked with them before, he said. My father nodded, clearly proud. That's my son, he said. I didn't say anything, because I already knew that building. I had seen the file months earlier. A complicated asset. Multiple layers of ownership. A restructuring deal that had gone through quietly. And at the end of that structure was me. Not directly, not visibly, but legally, undeniably I controlled the building. I didn't tell them. Not because I wanted to hide it. Because I wanted to see something. I wanted to see how far their assumptions would go without being challenged. The night of the party was exactly what you would expect. Clean lighting, polished staff, everything arranged to feel important without looking excessive. Mark moved through the room like he owned it, introducing people, shaking hands, explaining details about the venue as if he had built it himself. My father stayed close to him most of the night, proud, relaxed, confident. Every time someone complimented the location, Mark smiled slightly. Glad you like it, he said. He never corrected them. He let them believe it was his. That told me everything I needed to know. I stayed quiet, watching. That's something I've always been good at. Observing without interrupting. Seeing patterns before people realize they're repeating themselves. At one point, I overheard Mark speaking to a small group near the bar. Ownership here is solid, he said. People I trust. Someone asked if he had equity in it. He laughed. Let's just say I have access most people don't. That was the first moment I felt something shift. Not anger, clarity, because he wasn't just exaggerating. He believed it. He believed he understood something he didn't. Later in the evening, I approached him. "Nice place," I said. He smiled, but there was something dismissive in it. "Yeah, it's not bad. You know the ownership structure?" He looked at me for a second. "Why would you ask that?" "Just curious." He shook his head slightly. "It's complicated. Not really your area." There it was. That same quiet dismissal I had heard my entire life. Not aggressive, just certain. I nodded. "Right." I walked away, not because I was done, but because I had seen enough. The real moment came later. My father was giving a speech, talking about family, about success, about what it means to build something. He mentioned Mark several times, talked about his instincts, his ability to recognize value, his connections. Then he glanced at me, only briefly. "And Rachel, well, she's always been steady." The room laughed softly, not cruelly, but enough. That was when I stepped forward. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe it was the accumulation of years. Maybe it was the way everything in that room felt so confidently wrong. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't interrupt loudly. I just spoke. "Mark doesn't own this building." The room went quiet. My father looked at me, confused. "What are you talking about?" Mark's expression changed instantly, controlled but sharp. "Rachel, this isn't the time." I kept my voice calm. "It's never the time, right?" A few people shifted uncomfortably. My father's face hardened. "Enough," he said. Then he turned, not to me, but to the staff. "Security, remove her." That was the moment. Not just rejection. Public dismissal. Final. 2 security guards started moving toward me. I didn't move. I didn't argue. I just reached into my bag. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't try to stop the guards. I just pulled out my phone and said one sentence. "Before they touch me, you might want to call the property manager." That was enough to slow everything down. Not stop it, just interrupt the certainty. Mark stepped closer. "What are you doing?" I met his eyes. "Fixing a misunderstanding." My father looked irritated. "This is not the place for whatever this is." "No," I said quietly. "This is exactly the place." I dialed a number, not a random one. The number tied directly to the building's operational management. The call connected quickly. "Hi," I said calmly. "This is Rachel Carter. I need you to confirm something." There was a pause. Then the tone on the other end changed. "Yes, MS. Carter." That one sentence shifted the room. People notice tone before they notice facts. "I'm currently at the event in the main ballroom," I continued. "Can you confirm who holds controlling interest in this property?" Silence. Then, clearly, "You do." No hesitation. No confusion. No interpretation. Just fact. The room didn't react immediately. It took a second, then another. Then the weight of it started to settle. I lowered the phone slowly. The security guards had stopped moving. They weren't looking at me anymore. They were looking at my father. Waiting. Mark didn't speak. For the first time that night, he didn't have anything ready. My father looked at me, trying to process what he had just heard. "That's not," he started. "It is," I said. I stepped forward slightly. "Through Carter Holdings. Finalized last year." I didn't explain more than that. I didn't need to. The truth doesn't need details when it lands properly. The room changed. Not loudly, but completely. The same people who had laughed earlier were now silent. Not out of respect, out of recalculation. Mark finally spoke. You never said anything. I looked at him. You never asked. That was the difference. I had never hidden anything. They had just never looked closely enough to see it. My father didn't apologize. Not in that moment. He stood there, caught between pride, confusion, and something else he didn't want to admit. The aftermath wasn't dramatic. No one argued. No one caused a scene. People just adjusted. That's what happens when reality replaces assumption. The rest of the night moved differently. People spoke to me differently, looked at me differently, not because I had changed, because their understanding had. Mark stayed quiet, for once, and my father, he didn't call security again. In the weeks that followed, things settled. Not perfectly, but honestly. Mark stopped presenting things as his. My father started asking questions he should have asked years ago. Not about money, about me. We never had a big conversation about that night. We didn't need to. Some moments explain themselves. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. People don't see you for who you are. They see you based on what they expect, until something forces them to see differently. I was never invisible. I was just never part of the story they wanted to believe. And sometimes the truth doesn't need to fight. It just needs the right moment to be seen.